Well, what a day at Mount Panorama. One of the wildest races we've ever seen in this championship, certainly among the best and the greatest of the great race. And winners of this year of the Repco Bathurst 1000, Matt Payne and Garth Tander, congratulations. David Reynolds and Lee Holdsworth in second, James Golding and David Russell in third. An incredible day at the mountain. You all came from all different directions to end up here on the podium today. Matt, starting with you, King of the Mountain, how does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty special for myself and obviously Garth here and the whole team at Penrite Racing. They've done an unbelievable job and they really stayed cool today and made some really good decisions for us. So yeah, it's super cool to be able to get the win here and yeah, celebrate it with them tonight.
You guys were certainly disappointed on Friday after qualifying down in 18th, but the word this morning after warm-up was the car felt pretty good. Did you think when you're sitting on the grid here today that you'd be sitting up here tonight?
Yeah, I thought that would be pretty optimistic. Yeah, not going to lie, it was a really hard day for us on Friday. We just didn't have the pace, you know, and I think we did a good job turning the car around. It looked pretty speedy in the dry as well. But yeah, the whole race was basically wet, so that was what you had to be quick in. And yeah, we managed to make some good changes in the pit stops and yeah, put us in the right direction.
So much wet running today. Can you just tell us what the conditions were like and the mental challenge of keeping it on the black stuff? It certainly was not easy.
Yeah, it actually got really tough there when the rain was probably coming down at its most. You know, there was a lot of aquaplaning on the straights, a lot of rivers, so you had to drive around them a lot. And it sort of got better at the end there. It actually dried out a bit. I didn't think our car was probably as good when it was a bit drier. I thought we were pretty good when it was wet. So, yeah, those conditions made it tricky. But yeah, around here, it's ultimately probably one of the toughest places to race around in the wet. Certainly with all the pressure on the top three and us to you know do the job. But it was pretty cool at the end there. It was getting really foggy at the over skyline and that, so it was pretty hard to see. But wow, I thought it was pretty cool. It would have made for some cool cameras. But yeah, it was pretty amazing.
We can tell you from watching from the outside, it was definitely pretty darn cool. An epic battle to the end between you, Jimmy, and Cooper. You had a crack yourself. Take us through that one going down at the chase, and you got a little bit wet there yourself for a minute.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool move. I was probably going down the straight, and I thought, this is it. I just have to stick here and go for it. Yeah, just hung around the outside and just caught the left rear on the grass, which sort of I couldn't pull it up in time, but I felt like I had a pretty good crack. It was a pretty wild moment. I thought after that I was probably done. So it's pretty cool to come back from that.
You certainly weren't done. Not too long later, the seas parted at Griffin's Bend. What was going through your mind when the doors opened for you?
Yeah, I saw Jimmy had a really good run going up to turn 2, and I sort of knew he was going to go, and I knew it was going to be pretty tricky passing there. It was pretty greasy on the inside, so yeah, those two made contact, and luckily I could just sweep through on the inside. Yeah, Cooper was putting up a pretty good fight, but I think he just lost a little bit of car speed ultimately at the end there.
Very well, congratulations. Very hard earned today. Garth Tander, you've done these a few times. Number 6, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, it's you know, I feel as a young kid growing up racing go-karts in Perth, just getting the opportunity to race here was an honour, let alone have success. So to sit here now with 6 is yeah, you'd never dream it as a young kid growing up. So really, really proud of the team. I've probably had more to do with this team with the helmet off than the helmet on. Than any other team that I've been involved with. So it's a very different feeling, very special feeling. I couldn't be prouder of Matt, the fact that he decided he was going to hang around the outside at the fastest corner in Australia in pouring rain and have a crack for the lead of the race. I was really, really proud of that. And the fact that it didn't quite work doesn't matter, because Bathurst being Bathurst, you knew there was going to be a sting in the tail. And whether that went our way or not, yeah, it was really, really cool.
You made the high-profile jump to Penrite Racing and Grove Racing a couple of years ago. At that point in time, people had potentially some reason to question that move. Does it feel verified or that you brought them their first Enduro win and first Bathurst win?
Yeah, that's why it's so special. It feels, yeah, you're right, that a lot of people sort of question why that I would change the team that is arguably the most dominant here and in supercars. But the opportunity to be part of building something and Stephen and Tanya Grove and Brenton Grove and everyone involved at Penrite Racing felt that I'd be a good fit to help them where they needed help to continue to grow the team, and to help with Matt, and to help with Kai now, to see the growth of the team when I'm not driving the car, but also to be part of that as well when I am driving the car. This one's really cool.
Speaking of very cool, you've been to quite a few of these races before. Can you even imagine one that's come to this sort of level of craziness? It was helter-skelter from start to finish.
Yeah, well, when I won in 2000, it was pretty wet, and Tony Longhurst was leading, and it was about 8 or 9 to go, and he collected. Yeah, you guys wouldn't know. And he collected John Faulkner and tore the front corner out of it, and that opened up the race win for us. So Bathurst is crazy place. It's never over until it's over, and even when Jimmy and Cooper came together at turn 2 and Matt snuck through for the lead, our garage erupted. That I was running around telling everyone 5 or 6 laps to go. Anything can go sideways here, given the wet conditions. So, yeah, that was pretty tense, probably final 10, 15 minutes. But, yeah, that's just what Bathurst is. I knew starting 18th that it would be one of those days with the weather forecast. And just had to keep your head about you and not make mistakes. Well, try not to make too many mistakes. Everyone would have made mistakes today. Just how you recover from those.
I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to tell Matt all about 2008 over a couple of cold ones.
We were talking about TikTok last night. I got no idea.
He's already told me about it.
Well, another great story for you guys to tell for many years to come. Another great story for today, David Reynolds. You guys seem to come from nowhere in those late stages, and all of a sudden you're right there in the battle for the win. Tell us about your day. Who was out there?
Yeah, our day went pretty well. I'm actually pretty exhausted, accelerated, proud of everyone. I'm also a little bit pissed off that Matt tried to put me in the fence on the last lap. So, what an asshole, eh? I'm so.
Bathurst 1000.
You mate, to be honest, I would have done the same anyway. So, I can't see in my mirrors. Yeah, bullshit. No, I had a mega day. So, to share my car with my mate of mine that lives around the corner, we've had honestly the best week ever. We've just had laughs and just carry on. We've just tried to make our car as best we can. But it was okay in the dry. But I knew, I've been saying it all day, if it's in the wet, we're in for a chance, 100%. I love those drying conditions where there's always a bit of intermittent going on. That was me to a T. So I thrive in those conditions, and my car was unbelievable in the sort of semi-dry conditions, or not semi-dry, but the semi-wet, semi-dry. But in the wet, it was the scariest piece of shit I've ever had in my life, and I feared for my life at many, many times in that race. I dead set tell you that.
Leroy, can you compare?
Hey? Mate, it was so dumb. We're going 300 kilometres an hour, and I can't see anything. I don't even know who's in front of me, who's beside me. I got no idea. It was just scary. I got kids now.
I actually
I got things to live for.
I took that into account.
Did you?
Well, boy, what a result it was. And after the year that it's been, we've spoken about over the previous weeks leading in, this has to be a really great redemption, not just for yourself, but the whole team down at Trading Energy Racing.
Yeah, I'm so proud of everyone at Team 18. We've just gone from strength to strength to strength since the start of the year. So it's unbelievable to watch everyone grow within himself, learn within himself, and become a better mechanic, better engineer, better driver, whatever it takes. So yeah, I just can't be proud of anyone. And I'm so proud of our sponsors, Trading Energy. They've been the most fun, sponsor I've had, and they just want me to do funny shit and have a good time. So that's me.
Certainly been doing that today. I'm sure there'll be more to come from that. Leroy, back on the podium. Was it just as scary as David was describing, or do you have a more calm assessment of it?
I'm too old for this to be watching in the watching the last part of the race from the pits is not fun at all. I felt sick so many times, just going, man, can this just be over? But obviously, you know that I know that Dave is such a great steerer, so had full faith in him. We knew that we're probably a little low on pressures for those conditions, so. Once I saw the rain dispersing and we were getting a bit less pelting down on the track, I knew that we would come good, and we were within a QE of the guys at the front, and I think Dave mowed them down by 8 seconds or so. So it was just incredible. And I said to Dave, after the race, you get this feeling. I reckon these guys would have had it as well. You get this feeling when you come to Bathurst. if it's going to be a good week, you don't want to tell anyone that you feel it because it might not be. But you just get this feeling in your stomach that something good is going to happen. And I had that feeling all day, and I knew that we had a reasonable car. We had to keep our heads cool and just keep aiming for that last lap. And the conditions were ridiculously bad today. You had to survive, but you also had to be quick. And fortunately, we were one of the few up here that didn't make many mistakes, and we ended up with a great result. But I'm very happy for these guys beside us. It was an awesome race. It couldn't have been better, especially after last year's boring fest. It was good to have a show today.
But it was such a cool race because at any time, like in the top 4, we could have won. Like, we all had pace at different places and different times of the last 30 laps. It was actually cool to be a part of and watch it all happen. So I assume it would have been unreal to watch.
Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah,
well
cool.
done to both of you as well. P3 for the day. Jimmy, you had a crack at glory, and you can't ask for anything less, can you?
Yeah, I had to have a go, that's for sure. Just really credit to the whole team. Premier Isuzu Trucks Racing. It's been an incredible day. From D-Russ to our race engineer, Simon Hodge, we put the hard work in through practice. When we knew the weather was coming, we dialed the car in as close to a wet weather car as we could get away with in the drive without affecting it. We knew we had good pace in both conditions, and we really just had to let the race come to us. D-Russ did a faultless job. The whole crew, all the mechanics, everyone down to the physio. It's just been an unreal day, so I can't thank them all enough. And the one that got away, I suppose, but pretty cool to get a P3 as well at Bathurst.
It just takes through that whole battle. The whole sequence all the way down to the finish was white knuckle stuff. It had to be even crazier behind the wheel, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was. My car was so fast, but really just took a little bit to get going every time the tyres cooled off. Every safety car was working hard to keep the temp up, and the couple of laps after it took a bit to get going, so I was trying to hold off as best I could, and then I knew it would come back to me, and I had the pace later on. And I was probably best, I think, into turn 2 under brakes, down the hill under brakes, and also at the chase under brakes, which is where I made a lot of passes. But Cooper was really strong off the elbow. So when I had that run out of turn 1, I knew that I had to go for it and have a go. I knew I'd regret it if I didn't have a go, so unfortunately it didn't work out. I'm sorry to him it didn't work out for their team, but that's racing, I had to have a go.
Hindsight's 2020. Would you have done anything different?
No.
I think we love to hear that. D-Russ, another event where you guys end up on the podium. It seems like you set it up in a sense, and letting, like Jimmy said, letting the car come to you. You guys went a little bit different on strategy when the rain started to come, and that seemed to set you up, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I think when we all looked at the forecast early in the week, we had a group chat about it in the engineering meeting. Say, well, hang on, we've had a wet session, our P2 in the co-driver session. There were so many that just parked their cars up, and I don't know why they did that. It was like, it's forecast to rain on Sunday. Why would you just sit in the garage? So we went through a multitude of different changes.
You're on the big bucks anyway.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you had to get every lap. But we made changes in that session and sort of tried to I guess, dial the car in a little bit, and then had a discussion around, well, how soft can we go? So we started tuning, and it was not until obviously in the race where the rain started falling. It was a little bit difficult early. At the start of the race when the temp was really high, so highest temp for the day, was like, well, this is gonna be hard for a little while, but it was just a bit of, don't make mistakes, don't get any damage, just keep rolling around. And then from there, when it started spitting rain, I had Windcup in front on slicks, and I thought, mate, good luck with that. And he boxed, of course, because he soon worked out it was too wet. So it was good. We warmed up tyres, our wets, and I had GT behind me. I thought he was right up behind me in other sessions. I thought, I've just got to get going here, otherwise he's gonna either have me and other people will get past. But it was good to be able to get through. And obviously, as the rain came down, for us, we started that set pretty much minimum pressures. So it was like when the rain started coming down, it was then getting more and more difficult to keep the temp up. And for us, obviously, in the runs, you could see with Jimmy, obviously, it was when our car was at its best was high temp. We had temp in the wets, and then every safety car was like, it came at the worst time. But I'm so proud of Jimmy. Like he's just did such an amazing job today. Drove faultlessly, had a crack. Pace was was really good. So for him to sort of come through, we knew that in quali that we probably didn't have enough of the car under it for an outright 1 lap pace, but we sort of had a plan and we executed that pretty much to the best of our ability with the team. So great job, mate.
Thanks.
We saw it on TV. We heard from Leroy and Tander about the emotion in their respective garages and watching from the sidelines. What was the case in Premier Racing's garage?
Wow, yeah, it was. We were leading the race. We were, at one stage we dropped back to 4th, and Jimmy got us back. It was just. It ebbed and flowed in that last part. I had to disappear a few times because I was like, oh, I can't watch this. There was so much stuff going on. And as I said, those safety cars, a couple just come at the worst time. I was, obviously a lot were real tight on fuel. That last safety car, everyone was obviously having to really save, and I'm sure a lot of engineers were spinning up saying save more under, but the thing is it's a trade-off between trying to save fuel and then the engineer, like Jimmy got told, save fuel but warm the tyres at the same time.
And I was like, all right, no worries, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to give me some actual challenge? Or?
So that side of it is it's very difficult, and all those mains that were in there just did an unbelievable job. All those guys are up there doing the business late in their stints. Hats off to them, because what you're seeing is not Australia's best, but globally what they demonstrated today was at the highest level possible.
Yeah, it's definitely a credit to the whole field. Did an awesome job, particularly all the main drivers at the end there. Congratulations to Matt and Garth. Awesome day. But, I wish I had it.
You got time.
Very well said yourselves. I'll open it up to the room for the journalists.
We'll start. Dave, I've got a couple for you. I think you wrote or said something during the week about that the best way to repay the faith of Charlie and Team 18 with the extra year on your contract with some trophies.
Yep.
Pretty nice to do it straight away at the biggest race of the year.
Yeah, this is the coolest race you could, if I was to come 20th every other race and win this race, it's still the best year of your life. That's how much.
Charlie would still be dirty with you if you did that.
You reckon?
Every other race.
But I'll win this race.
I'll win this one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm mainly pissed off about? What? My thing was on fire, and it rained. It come out it started to rain with about 4 laps ago, and I was just absolutely just abusing myself because it started raining, and then all the pace left out of my car. So if it didn't rain, I think we could have been on like Donkey Kong.
Did you think that you had Matt at the cutting?
It was cheeky going around the outside, but hey. He's just an asshole.
What about the fog and whatnot? I mean, it looked bad
Yeah,
on
the
the
fog
TV.
was really, really bad. He couldn't see from flag point to flag point. So generally that's come into pit lane and wait for the fog to disappear. So I'm glad they left the race run. So, but it was super scary. I couldn't see anything. I turned my dash down to try and, get more visibility, but it was really dark and really ominous. Ominous. I like that word.
Matt, just...
But sorry, on your question, it is the best way to repay, the faith in Charlie and everything like that. So I hope I can do it more often.
Matt, just on your side of the battle on the last lap with Dave.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I knew he was right there.
You did?
Of course I did. Of course I did. I was just playing you. But I know. I knew that. Our wagon sort of I sort of felt like the last 2 or 3 laps here, we sort of started to fade a little bit. As the track dried out, I didn't think we were as strong. So, yeah, it was tough. Like he said before, he came from a long way back, and his thing was a rocket ship. So I knew it was going to be pretty tough on that last lap. But I knew if I could just get out of the elbow, all right, I'd be okay. So, glad I did.
GT, if this was your last one, it'd be a good way to go out.
What are you trying to say? You're retiring? Are you retiring me off?
I read a story this morning that you weren't sure.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying today. Yep.
Could I just ask for your opinion? Given what the conditions were at the end, does the race need to start earlier?
Yeah. Look, I don't understand why the start time's such a big deal. They move the start time and the world ends. Social media goes into meltdown. It's like, I don't get it. So.
I remember it starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I remember doing the warm up at 7:30 in the morning.
I don't think it's a discussion point. Yeah.
Jimmy, was it a weird feeling to cross the line first but not win?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an empty feeling, but yeah. Look, I just had that sort of, I was happy, but, empty feeling. And, I just really honestly enjoyed that race. It was the best race I've ever done. To be a part of, it was just phenomenal. When you've got a good car to compete for a win in any race is awesome, but at the biggest race in Australia, it was just unreal.
And Jimmy, just to clarify, did you feel that the penalty was deserved? Did you think straight away when it happened that you were done?
To be honest, I need to have a look at the replay. I thought the move was on. I had to have a go at it. I'm unsure what it looks like from TV, but obviously the contact was just enough to turn Cooper. In wet conditions, it doesn't take much. So, I think touch and go. I'll have to have a look. Go from there.
Have you spoken to Cooper about it, or did you get a visit from Barry Ryan when you got out of the car?
If you stop asking me questions, I'll get to go and see him.
And Matt, congratulations. Talk us through that, battling Jimmy at the end there. I gather you knew that he had a penalty. Were you considering letting him go? How hard was that?
Yeah, I knew he had a 5-second penalty. So I was actually I knew Jimmy was also, he became really fast in those last few laps. And I knew Dave was really closing in. So I was just trying to manage the two going on, I guess. It was pretty hard, but yeah, Jimmy, he did an awesome job. He got around us, and I knew we just had to hold off Dave, and that was probably challenging enough. Yeah, it's pretty hard.
And GT, there was so much happening in that race, but it looked like you had a pretty wild moment with Craig Lowndes on the front straight. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, I had no idea he was there. So I was actually trying to get up the inside of D-Russ, and he was squeezing me, so we were sort of on our way to the wall. And then Lowndesy was on the inside of me, and I had no idea he was there. So I just felt him. We got a little bit sideways, and then I was like, well, I'm passing D-Russ, so I went up the inside. So Lowndesy sort of pushed me through. But so I haven't seen CL yet, but I'll go and apologise. I didn't realise he was there.
And also there was so much talk and noise this week about whether Fords could win or had an unfair advantage. What was the Grove Racing sort of view of that, and did it come into your sort of thinking as part of the weekend?
No, we just focused on our own race cars and our own team and our own strategy, and did the best job we could. I thought the team did an exceptional job post-Friday qualifying, where we didn't have the speed that we should have in qualifying, and that was through no fault of Matt and Kai. So the team rebounded really nicely on Friday night. We had a really strong engineering meeting Friday night, and the cars were considerably better in race trim on Saturday, and that gave us a really solid base to work from. So at no point did any of the outside noise filter into our truck.
Thank you.
Last call. Well, I think it's time for celebrations. Congratulations, guys. Repco Bathurst 1000 winners, Matt Payne and Garth Tander.